So when we talk about how do you become better at inquiry, I talk a lot of things about, when things are hard, right? What do you do then? And so when we talk about that fear, right, with the fear of failure, the fear of making the wrong comment, the wrong answer, getting in trouble, I think one of the things about being better is we split it in two boxes. What do you do for yourself, and what do other people do for you? And so when we talk about sales, working in a call center, where you're just working in a business in your own role, we talk about inquiry, whether it's you wanting to learn to become a student of your own business, of your own products, your own services, whether you're trying to learn what other people do and how do they do it, to in sales, learning your customer, understanding what they do, understanding what it is that makes their business tick and where does your value come in. Some of those things, again, is stepping back for those that are self-aware and understanding that it's a room for improvement. It's an area where you can do better. And that's that first step. And when you acknowledge that you can do a better job, that there is a way for you to improve that skill set, then that cornerstone, that piece where you're willing to invest into yourself because you know it's going to help others, then in turn, it can obviously help you. And those things could be like you'll perform better. You'll be able to maybe have improvement in your performance in a job where maybe there's upward mobility. Maybe it's your ability to take on more responsibility, more pay, maybe to find other jobs and whatever it may be. Now, of course, just getting better at inquiry alone isn't going to be enough for everything I said, but I can't see it hurting your ability to achieve those things if you don't find ways to improve your inquiry. And some of those things are practice, right? Is being able to surround yourself with information, with people that are not only good at inquiry, but are able to teach inquiry. Not everybody is good at teaching inquiry. Some people are just naturally really good at being inquisitive, being able to really want to understand. But sometimes what we do is we're very transactional. We have these 10 things we need to know. And so it's a checklist. I got to know all these 10 things. I'm not saying there's anything bad with the checklist. Great. Have a checklist so that you make sure all the things you need to cover, you cover. But step back and go, why do I need to know these things? Why is it important for me to know them? And why is it important for the other person to know them? How do I get deeper? I talk again on a regular basis about the concepts of the onion. Stop being on the surface with things when it makes sense to go deeper. There are times to be transactional, absolutely. But there are other times when there is something someone has to say and you're not going to get it until you go deep enough. How do you ask the right questions? How do you know what kind of questions to ask? When do you use an open-ended question versus a closed-ended question? When do you allow silence in between a question to allow someone to continue giving you more information? Are you listening to what they are saying in that question before you're trying to say the answer for the next thing you want to talk about? Are you really absorbing the things you're asking? Because remember, inquiry is about them. It's about understanding, about learning. And you really can't do that unless you're able to make it in that moment less about the next thing you have to say and more about the next thing that you need to learn. And so when it comes to surrounding yourself, if you don't know the first steps on getting better at, go find books. Go ask for help. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. It's your ability to go out and to be able to make sure that learning is your priority, not somebody else's. Now, don't get me wrong. If you got a leader that comes in and says, learning is a priority, we're going to do this, we're going to do this to help you improve, to upskill, to get you going, great. Awesome. You found a great leader. But you're not always going to work somewhere where you're going to have great leadership. So you have to be able to step back and figure out, how do I ask for help? How do I put myself in a position where that feeling of weakness, that feeling of deficiency doesn't keep you from being able to get to the next step and grow?